welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're heading straight to the heartland of Maharashtra, India, to uncover a place where the very stones seem to bear witness to the raw power of compassion. We are diving into the mystical origins and the unbelievable historical resilience of the 12th and final Jyotirlinga, Grishneshwar. Now, whether you're a massive history buff, a spiritual seeker, or just someone fascinated by ancient, unbeatable architecture, you're gonna love this. We're talking about an epic journey from total destruction to glorious creation, and from the depths of despair to absolute liberation. Let's get right into it. To truly wrap our heads around the sacred site, we actually have to start with a pretty profound question about its mythology. It's a question that completely flips our standard understanding of divine retribution on its head. So why would Lord Shiva, who is universally known as the god of destruction, choose forgiveness in a moment of ultimate, heartbreaking betrayal? Well, the answer lies in a legendary story of faith so unshakable that it literally managed to turn back the wheel of time. That faith is perfectly summed up in one incredibly powerful conviction. The one who gave me this son will protect him as well. Just think about that for a second. That quote embodies the absolute, unwavering devotion of a woman named Ghushma. Her response to an unimaginable tragedy set the stage for a literal miracle. Because instead of sinking into despair or burning with rage, her spiritual calmness anchored her completely. She proved that real, true devotion just doesn't waver when it's put to the ultimate test. Now, the beating heart of this legend is the stark night-and-day contrast between two sisters. On one side, you have Sudeha. She was married to a Brahmin named Sudharma, but she was completely consumed by the despair of being childless. Driven by this pain, she actually arranged for her husband to marry her younger sister, Ghushma. But as Ghushma was blessed with a son, Sudeha became completely and utterly blinded by jealousy. On the flip side, you have Ghushma, who just radiated pure devotion and spiritual calm. Tragically, though, Sudeha's jealousy hit a breaking point, and it drove her to murder Ghushma's sleeping son in the dead of night. How Ghushma reacted to this sheer horror is what makes this story so extraordinary. Let's look at her daily ritual. Without fail, every single day, she would craft 101 earthen lingas, worship them with deep devotion, and immerse them in a nearby lake called the Shivalaya Sarovar. Now, even on the morning she discovered her murdered son's blood on his bed and realized his body had been thrown into that very same lake, she didn't stop. She didn't break her ritual. Her tears fell, sure, but her hands remained entirely absorbed in her worship. And you know what? That ironclad dedication paved the way for a miracle. When she went to immerse her lingas that tragic morning, her dead son emerged from the water, completely resurrected. Lord Shiva himself appeared, raising his trident, fully ready to strike down the murderous Sudeha. But Ghushma did the unthinkable. She fell to his feet and actually begged for her sister's forgiveness. Deeply moved by this ultimate act of grace, Shiva manifested right there as Grishneshwar. The name literally translates to the Lord of Compassion, or the Lord born of friction. It's a name that perfectly captures this mind-blowing story of mercy. But listen, this wasn't just some local isolated miracle. This ultimate act of forgiveness actually completed a massive sacred chain of 12 divine pillars of light across India. These Jyotirlingas represent sites where Shiva appeared as an infinite column of light, and Grishneshwar holds the profound distinction of being the 12th and final link in this incredibly powerful spiritual circuit. It cemented its place forever as a cornerstone of faith. But the story of resilience doesn't just live in the mythology, right? It is deeply physically embedded in the temple itself. Much like Ghushma's son, the temple went through brutal, devastating cycles of destruction and glorious rebirth. Back in the 13th and 14th centuries, it was heavily damaged by the Delhi Sultanate. But it flat out refused to stay buried. In the 16th century, it was first restored by Maloji Raje Bhosle, who was actually the grandfather of the legendary Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. And then finally, in the 18th century, the great Queen Ahilyabai Holkar of Indore gave it the magnificent form that we can still walk through today. And let me tell you, Ahilyabai Holkar's 18th century reconstruction gifted the world an absolute masterpiece of Maratha architecture. The whole thing is constructed from the striking, vibrant red volcanic basalt stone. It features a stunning 5-tier narrowing shikara, or spire, and the outer walls, they are just covered in intricate carvings of the Dashavatara, the 10 avatars of Vishnu, along with beautiful dancers. Inside, there's a grand court hall supported by 24 intricately carved pillars detailing ancient legends. It's a literal visual feast. To really put that into perspective and give you a sense of scale, the resilience of this site is physically embodied in its sheer size. The current temple complex spans a sprawling 44,400 square feet. It is this vast, vibrant center of active worship where the echoes of ancient chants are still bouncing off those red stone walls to this very day. Yet, here is a fascinating little paradox for you. Despite this massive 44,400 square foot complex, the inner sanctum, the Garbhagriha, actually houses the absolute smallest of all the 12 Jyotirlingas. The Shivalinga here is situated right at ground level. It is such a powerful physical symbol of Lord Shiva's humility and deep connection to the earth, proving once again that divine power is absolutely never defined by physical size. There's another really cool architectural detail that sets this site apart, and that's its directional orientation. Out of the 12 Jyotirlingas scattered across India, 10 of them are north-facing. But Grishneshwar, it's one of only 2, the other being Mahakal, that actually faces east. It's a really unique distinction that just adds another layer to the rich tapestry of sacred geography in India. Now, if you are getting inspired and planning to step into this living miracle yourself, you definitely need to be prepared. The temple enforces a very strict dress code, and it's designed entirely to strip away human ego and enforce absolute humility before the divine. Men must actually remove their upper garments and enter the sanctum bare-chested. No leather items whatsoever, like belts or purses, are permitted inside. Women are required to wear traditional Indian attire like saris or suits. Make no mistake, this is an environment built purely on reverence. So when should you actually go? Well, timing is everything. For the most comfortable weather, you'll want to aim for between October and March, where you get really pleasant temperatures averaging around 28 to 30 degrees Celsius. But if you want an unmatched, completely electrifying spiritual atmosphere, visiting during Mahashivratri in February or March is next level. I mean, the entire valley literally vibrates with energetic chants of Har Har Mahadev. Just a quick heads up though, if you visit during the August monsoons, the surroundings are beautifully lush, but heavy rains can definitely make the trip a bit more challenging. Luckily, getting to this sacred site is super accessible. Your best bet is to fly or take a train into the nearest major transit hub, which is Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, formerly known as Aurangabad. From the airport or the railway station there, it is just a short, scenic 30-kilometer drive by bus, auto, or taxi right up to the temple gates in the little village of Varul. Oh, and here is a massive bonus for any traveler. You can so easily turn this spiritual pilgrimage into a huge historical adventure. Why? Because the world-famous UNESCO World Heritage Site, the Ellora Caves, which features the breathtaking rock-cut Kailash temple, is practically right next door. We're talking less than 2 kilometers away. It is absolutely the perfect blend of divine energy and ancient human engineering packed into one single trip. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought to really reflect on. We've just explored a place defined by endless cycles of physical resilience, built on a mythological foundation of ultimate compassion and forgiveness. So whether you're seeking to witness some incredible history firsthand, or you're searching for your own personal healing, when you finally step into those ancient redstone halls of Grishneshwar, what part of your own spirit will you awaken? Thank you so much for exploring with us today, and keep learning.